Hi Rotary Swing golfers, this is RST instructor Chris Tyler, and this week I'm going to be doing a breakdown of James Hahn's beautiful looking golf swing. I'm actually going to be doing a side-by-side comparison with one of our model swings and showing you a lot of the fine attributes that this guy has to his golf swing and show you exactly how to get into a great impact position. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so those of you that are joining us on our YouTube channel, I'm going to go ahead and include a special preview of a bonus clip at the end called Sitting into the Left Side. This is a great video that talks about how to get into the downswing transition with your lower half. And remember, if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button below, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post those up and I'll help you out as best I can. Okay guys, as I said in the opener, I'm going to be doing a side-by-side comparison with James Hahn's beautiful looking golf swing. I'm going to show you how important it is to load up the right side and how important it is to be able to use your lower half properly to get into a great looking impact position so that you can control the hitting area. So let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to get both players up to the top of their golf swings, and we're going to talk about the right hip line first and how important it is for you to be able to look at this when you self-evaluate. So I'm going to draw this line up from the center of the ankle on both players here. You're going to notice that we've got the right leg really kind of pushed up against this line. Now this is a line that we draw up from the center of the ankle. And from a two-dimensional aspect, you will notice that your right hip will pull away from this line. Now because the hips are rotating and we're looking at it from a face-on perspective, you do want to see that the hip pulls away from this line just a fraction, not much. If you've noticed that your right leg or your trail leg pulls inward of this line, now that's a signal to you that you have not shifted enough weight over there and you've become unstable. So double check to make sure that when you start your golf swing, when you start your takeaway, that you've shifted enough weight over there, and to make sure that you feel like you're pushing your right heel and ankle into the ground, and that'll help keep things pushed up there and help keep a load into that side. If you've noticed that your leg is pushed through this line, then that could be a signal that you've got too much lateral shift, and we've got to kind of pinpoint what's caused that. And that's generally attributed to you pushing the golf club back with your lead arm and your lead shoulder. All right, so those are what you want to look for with the right hip line. Very important line for you guys to be able to use and self-diagnose. But these guys both have great looking load to the right side. You're going to see big wide shoulder turn out of both players, and you're going to see that both virtually in the same position as far as shaft angle and right forearm are concerned. Now, what we got to focus on now is how do we get back into the lead side. And I think that's one of the big things that a lot of amateur golfers struggle with. And what we're looking for at this point, from a model swing standpoint, is when we start to work in transition, you're going to see a shifting and an unwinding of the hips. So those hips shifted and they unwound. Okay, so now the hips are virtually back to a square position here. Let me get one more frame for us. Okay, so now our hips and our knees are back into a square position where they were virtually at address. You're going to see that we've shifted. The left knee is now stacked right over the top of the left ankle, and virtually the left hip socket is right over it as well. You can see the spacing now from the right leg and that right hip line. Now from James Hahn's golf swing perspective, you're going to see here as we start to shift, okay, let me get him right over to the lead side. Now you can see his weight getting stacked up over there. Left knee stacked right over the top of the left ankle, left hip socket in a good spot as well. So you can see the spacing from where the right hip line was. So there's a pretty good size shift of the hips. But also I want you to take note of the lead arm. See how the lead arm is now parallel to the ground? If you've noticed that your arms are much further down in your golf swing, we're talking about belt high or below. If you've noticed that, then that's you trying to do too much with the upper part of your body. All right, so a good checkpoint for you is when you start to shift or sit into your lead side, check to see how or where your arms are in your downswing sequence. If you see that they're pulled down too far, then chances are you've tried to motor your downswing with just the hands and the arms. At this point, what we're looking for, now that we're back to a square position and we're starting to get our weight posted up and we're getting really stable, is we're going to start to clear the left hip out. So the left hip is starting to clear, and we're going to stabilize the lower body right into impact, so you have a nice stacked up lead looking side there. Same thing from a model swing perspective, excuse me. We're shifting into that lead side, and then we are posting up and controlling the speed of the hips, so the hands and arms can now act independently from the body and release at max speed at impact. So if you want more consistency and you want more speed in your golf swing, then it's really important that you prioritize things properly. Get up to the top of your golf swing, get into a good looking right hip line, make sure that you've loaded up that trail side properly, and then use your lower body to shift and unwind and get things into a good position to where you can start to stabilize and control the speed of the rotation of the body. If you can control the speed of the rotation of the body, that's going to allow you to let the hands and arms release with max speed, and you'll be well on your way to hitting the golf ball better than you ever have before, I promise you. All right, guys, so a couple of great videos I want you to check out this week. Obviously, the right hip line, we talked about that at first. These are all going to be in the recommended videos over to the right-hand side of the video player. Great video for you to be able to self-diagnose, look at it, make sure that you've looked at it and, okay, I understand what the right hip line means. Next good video that I want you to check out is sitting into the left side. Another video that's going to talk to you about how the hips are working in downswing transition. And an awesome video for you to try out a good drill is squat to square. These videos are going to show you how to get these moves with this lower body, kind of get things started on the right path, and allow you to get into a really great looking impact position. And if you're unclear about what impact alignments are supposed to look at from a face-on perspective, we're also going to talk about that's also going to be another recommended video, impact alignments face-on. Good video for you to be able to look at it and then take a look at your own golf swing and say, okay, I'm not in these positions. I need to make some adjustments. All right, guys, so if you want to play more consistently, this is the move, one of these moves you want to mimic. I hope you guys have a great day. Now let's get out there and play some great golf.
One of the most common problems that we see for golfers of all levels is losing the tush line. That's talked about so much, and especially on the forums, and people who are trying to understand the golf swing. They can build a lot of good things into their swing, but when it comes to looking at the swing from down the line, they start to stand up and get this early extension into the swing. I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. As a golfer's coming into impact, one of the things that we do is look at the tush line, which is basically a vertical line drawn straight down from a down the line view from the rear. So typically we'll draw that at address. That's not the most important one, but if we draw it at address and we leave it sitting here, you can basically see where a straight line would be drawn down straight a couple inches behind my heel. As I come down into impact, when people lose that tush line, what it looks like is this. They start to stand up, and notice how now my rear has moved in, so I've lost the tush line. The opposite of that would look like if I maintain it, this. So now my tush line is basically where it was at address. That's what we're looking for, because if you don't do that, if you start to create this look, it makes it very common for the club to drop to the inside and get stuck. It makes it really common to hit blocks and pushes and snap hooks. And it's also a little hard on your back and your hip. So apart from those problems and several others, it's very important that you learn to maintain it. But what it shows is that when you're not maintaining it, that you're doing a couple of very fundamental things of the golf swing incorrectly. And so I'm going to give you a drill today that's going to help you develop the correct movement